Listen up. I don't care if your financial advisor is your best friend. I don't care if you've known them for 20 years. I don't care if they smile and shake your hand and remember your grandkids' names. I care about one thing, whether you'll have money to live on when you're 70 years old. And right now, if you're over 50 and following your advisor's safe investment recommendations, there's a very good chance you're going to end up broke. I'm Grace Park, and I've seen a pattern that absolutely disgusts me. Hardworking people in their 50s and 60s, people who've saved diligently for decades, getting wiped out by investments their financial advisors promised were safe, guaranteed, and perfect for retirement. These people saved $300,000, $500,000, sometimes $1 million. They did everything right. They sacrificed, they saved, and then they trusted their advisor. And when the market moved, not even crashed, just moved, they lost 20, 30, sometimes 50% of their retirement savings. They had to delay retirement by 5 or 10 years. They had to move in with their kids. They had to take part-time jobs at 70. Their financial advisor, still driving a Mercedes and taking vacations in Europe. Today, I'm going to expose 5 investments that financial advisors are aggressively pushing to people over 50. These investments sound safe. They sound smart. They sound like exactly what someone approaching retirement needs, but they're actually wealth destroyers disguised as wealth protectors. And they all have one thing in common. They make your financial advisor rich while making you poor. If you're over 50 and you don't want to be broke in your 70s, subscribe to this channel right now, because we tell the truth here, even when it makes the financial industry hate us. Let me establish my credibility here. Over 40 years, I've seen thousands of people build wealth and thousands lose everything. I've watched the same patterns repeat over and over. And here's what I've learned. The worst financial disasters don't happen to reckless gamblers. They happen to cautious, conservative people who trusted the wrong advice. I've personally seen too many 50 and 60-year-olds follow their advisors' safe recommendations and watch their retirement accounts shrink by 30 to 50%. And here's the tragedy. At 50 or 60, you don't have time to recover. A 25-year-old can lose half their portfolio and bounce back. A 55-year-old, that loss is permanent. Your retirement dream is over. What I'm about to tell you is going to make a lot of financial advisors absolutely hate me, because I'm going to reveal exactly how they make money from you, and it's not how you think. But I don't care about their feelings. I care about protecting your retirement. Here's the fundamental truth that the financial industry doesn't want you to understand. There's a massive difference between investments that are safe for you and investments that are safe for your advisor's commission check. When you're 25, you can afford to take risks. You can lose money and recover. You have 40 years of earning power ahead of you. But when you're 55, you cannot afford one major loss. A single bad investment decision can permanently destroy your retirement plan. You don't have the time to make it back. And this is where financial advisors become dangerous, because many, not all, but many, are compensated based on commission. They make money when they sell you certain products, and the products that pay them the highest commissions are often the worst investments for you. Let me give you some statistics that should terrify you. Studies consistently show that high-fee investment products underperform low-cost index funds over the long term, by a lot. We're talking 2, 3, 4% per year difference. Over 20 years, that difference can cut your retirement savings in half. But your advisor isn't showing you those statistics. Instead, they're showing you glossy brochures with charts that go up and to the right. They're using words like guaranteed, protected, safe, and conservative. They're describing complicated products that sound sophisticated and smart, and they're collecting fat commissions while your money slowly evaporates. I've heard the same story dozens of times. My advisor said this investment couldn't lose money. He said it was guaranteed. He said it was perfect for someone my age. And 3 years later, I'm down 25%, and I can't even get my money out without paying huge penalties. Now let me walk you through the 5 most dangerous investments that advisors are pushing to people over 50. For each one, I'll show you exactly how they pitch it, what the hidden risks are, what the real data shows, and why it's particularly deadly for people in their 50s and beyond. Here's how your advisor pitches variable annuities to you. This gives you the upside potential of the stock market, but with principal protection. If the market goes up, you participate in the gains. If it goes down, you don't lose your principal. It's the perfect investment for retirement, growth potential with safety. Sounds amazing, right? Who wouldn't want that? Here's what they don't tell you. Variable annuities typically pay your advisor a commission of 7 to 10% of your investment. If you put $500,000 into a variable annuity, your advisor just made $35,000 to $50,000 right off the top, before you've earned a single penny. The annual fees on variable annuities are typically 2 to 3% per year. These fees include mortality and expense charges, administrative fees, investment management fees, and rider fees for those guarantees your advisor promised. Over 20 years, 3% annual fees will consume nearly half your investment, even if the market does reasonably well. And those guarantees, they come with surrender charges that lock up your money for 7 to 10 years. If you need to withdraw money early for a medical emergency, to help a child, or because you realize you made a mistake, you'll pay penalties of 7, 8, 9% or more. Let's do the math. You invest $500,000, your advisor takes $40,000 in commission, the insurance company takes $15,000 per year in fees. After 10 years, even with decent market returns, you might have less money than you started with after accounting for all the fees. But here's why this is particularly deadly after 50. You need liquidity. Medical emergencies happen. Family situations arise. You might want to help your kids or grandkids, but your money is locked up. You can't access it without massive penalties. You're trapped. I've seen people in their 60s with serious health issues who needed money for treatment, but their retirement savings were locked in variable annuities with huge surrender charges. They had to choose between paying the penalty or not getting the care they needed. That's criminal. Here's the pitch. Whole life insurance gives you coverage for your entire life, plus it builds cash value. It's better than putting money in a bank because it grows tax deferred. It's the perfect combination of protection and investment for someone your age. Let me tell you what's really happening. In the first several years of a whole life policy, virtually all of your premium payments go to the insurance company and your agent as commissions and fees. The agent might make 50 to 100% of your first year's premium as commission. On a $10,000 annual premium, that's $5,000 to $10,000 straight into their pocket. The actual return on the cash value component of whole life insurance is typically 3 to 4% per year, often less, and that's before you account for the insurance costs embedded in the policy. Your net return might be 1 to 2%, but your advisor shows you illustrations that project 7 or 8% returns. Those are projections, not guarantees, and they almost never happen. Here's the math on a typical whole life policy purchased at age 55. You pay $10,000 per year in premiums. After 10 years, you've paid in $100,000, but your cash value might only be $60,000 or $70,000. Where did the other $30,000 to $40,000 go? Commissions and insurance costs. If you had instead put that money in a low-cost index fund, your $100,000 might have grown to $150,000 or $200,000 over the same period. And here's why this is particularly devastating for people over 50. The premiums are extremely expensive at that age because the insurance cost is higher. You're paying massive premiums for coverage you might not even need. If your kids are grown and your house is paid off, you probably don't need a huge life insurance policy. You need to accumulate wealth for retirement. The opportunity cost is enormous. Every dollar you put into expensive whole life insurance is a dollar you're not investing for growth. And at 55, you have maybe 10 to 15 years left before retirement. You can't afford to waste those years earning 2% when you could be earning 8 or 10. Your advisor's pitch sounds compelling. Non-traded REITs give you stable real estate income with monthly distributions. They're much safer than stocks because they're backed by real property, and the monthly income is perfect for retirement. Here's the reality. Non-traded REITs often pay front-end commissions of 7 to 10%. Your $500,000 investment immediately becomes $450,000 after your advisor takes their cut. These investments have virtually no liquidity. Unlike publicly traded REITs that you can sell on the stock market any day, non-traded REITs lock up your money. If you need to sell, you often have to wait for a redemption window. And redemptions are frequently suspended during market stress, exactly when you might need your money most. The valuations are completely opaque. With a publicly traded stock or REIT, you know what it's worth every day because the market sets the price. With non-traded REITs, the sponsor tells you what it's worth, and they have a strong incentive to inflate that value to keep investors happy and prevent redemptions. Those monthly distributions that look so attractive, they're often partially a return of your own capital. In other words, they're giving you back your own money and calling it income. This is legal, but it's misleading, and it means the actual value of your investment is declining even as you're receiving checks. When you're 55 and your advisor shows you monthly income statements with distributions, it feels great. You think you're earning steady income. But what's really happening is your principal is shrinking through hidden fees, inflated valuations, and distributions that include your own capital. And here's the killer. When you actually need the money at 65 or 70, you might discover you can only redeem at a steep discount, or redemptions might be suspended entirely. I've seen people who thought they had $500,000 in non-traded REITs discover they could only get out at $350,000. That's a 30% haircut on money they thought was safe. This is how these get sold. Buffered ETFs give you upside participation in the stock market with downside protection. If the market goes up, you capture most of the gain. If it goes down, you're protected against the first 10 or 20% of losses. It's the smart way to invest in stocks without the risk. Sounds perfect for a 55-year-old, right? Upside with protection? But dig into the details and you'll discover why these are terrible. First, the fees. Structured products and buffered ETFs have complex fee structures that aren't always obvious. You might be paying 1 to 2% or more in fees and costs. Second, the upside is capped. Yes, you get downside protection, but in exchange, you give up gains above a certain level. If the market goes up 25%, you might only capture 12 or 15%. You're capping your upside to protect against downside you might never experience. Third, the protection is incomplete. A typical buffered ETF might protect you against the first 15% of losses. But if the market drops 30%, you're eating that second 15% of losses in full. So you're not actually protected against a real bear market. Fourth, the opportunity cost is massive. Over the past century, the stock market has averaged about 10% annual returns. If you're in a buffered product that caps your upside at 8% and charges 1.5% in fees, you're netting maybe 6 to 7%. That 2 to 3% difference per year, compounded over 10 or 15 years, represents hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost wealth. For someone in their 50s, this is devastating. You have limited time before retirement. You need your investments to grow. Capping your upside while taking on complex products with high fees is exactly the wrong strategy. I've seen investors in their 60s who put their entire retirement savings into structured products, thinking they were being conservative. The market went up 50% over 5 years, but they only captured 25% because of the caps. They permanently lost half the gains. That's wealth they can never recover. Here's how your advisor sells you on these. Our fund managers are experts. They actively select the best stocks and avoid the bad ones. This fund has beaten the market in several years. It's much better than a passive index fund because you're getting professional management. For someone your age, you need that expertise. Let me destroy this argument with data. Study after study after study shows that over 90% of actively managed mutual funds underperform their benchmark index over the long term after fees. 90%. That means your expert manager is almost certainly going to lose to a simple, low-cost index fund. But these funds charge 1 to 2% per year in management fees. Some charge even more. And your advisor gets a sales commission or ongoing trail commission for putting you in them? Let's do the math. You invest $500,000 in an actively managed fund charging 1.5%. Over 20 years, you'll pay over $200,000 in fees. A low-cost index fund charging 0.1% would cost you less than $15,000 in fees over the same period. That's nearly $200,000 in extra fees for worse performance. Compounding makes this even worse. That money you're paying in fees doesn't just disappear. It's money that could have been compounding and growing. Over 20 years, the difference between a 1.5% fee and a 0.1% fee isn't just the fee itself. It's the lost compound growth on those fees. The true cost could be $300,000 to $400,000 or more. For someone in their 50s, this is a retirement killer. You should be in the sweet spot of compound growth. Your decades of savings should finally be working for you. But instead, fees are eating away 2, 3, 4% of your returns every year. You're being robbed of the wealth you should be building. I cannot tell you how many people in their late 60s have come to me, opened their statements, and discovered their professionally managed portfolio has barely grown in 10 or 15 years. The fees consumed all the gains. They thought they were being smart by hiring experts. Instead, they were being fleeced. Now that I've terrified you, let me tell you what you should actually do with your money if you're over 50 and approaching retirement. The answer is going to sound boring. It's not sexy. It won't impress people at cocktail parties. But it works, and it will let you sleep at night knowing your retirement is secure. Here's the core strategy. Avoid complex, high-fee products. Stick to simple, low-cost, transparent investments. For most people over 50, your portfolio should be built around low-cost, broad stock and bond index funds. I'm talking about funds from Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab that track the total stock market or the S&P 500, with expense ratios under 0.1%, not 1%. 0.1%. That's it. For the fixed income portion, use short-term treasury bonds or CDs for stability and guaranteed income. These are boring. They pay 2 to 4%, but you know exactly what you're getting. No hidden fees, no complexity, no surprises. If you need income, consider a small allocation to high-quality, dividend-paying blue-chip stocks. Companies like Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola. Boring companies that have paid dividends for decades and will probably continue paying them. The key principles: keep fees below 0.2% total. Maintain high liquidity. You should be able to sell and access your money within days, not months or years. Diversify broadly across thousands of stocks and bonds, not just a handful. And never ever rely on a single product's guarantee to protect you. This approach won't make your advisor rich. That's why they don't recommend it. There's no big commission for selling you a Vanguard index fund, but it will protect your wealth and give you the best chance of a comfortable retirement. Is it exciting? No. Will it make you rich overnight? No. But will it let you sleep peacefully at 70, knowing you have money to live on? Absolutely. These 5 investments, variable annuities, whole life insurance sold as investments, non-traded REITs, structured products and buffered ETFs, and high-fee actively managed funds, are destroying retirement dreams across America. They sound safe, they're marketed as conservative, they're recommended by trusted advisors, but they're wealth destroyers. And the tragedy is that the people getting hurt the most are the ones who can afford it the least. Hardworking people in their 50s and 60s who saved for decades, who did everything right, who trusted the system, and the system is failing them. Your financial advisor might be a good person. They might genuinely believe they're helping you, but their incentives are not aligned with yours. They make money when you buy these products. You lose money from the fees and poor performance. You have to protect yourself. You have to ask the hard questions. What's the total fee I'm paying, including all hidden costs? What commission are you earning? How liquid is this investment if I need my money? What would this cost me if I bought a simple index fund instead? And if your advisor gets defensive or dismissive when you ask these questions, that's a massive red flag. A good advisor will welcome your questions and give you clear, transparent answers. Your 70-year-old self is watching you right now. That person is hoping you make the right decisions today so they can live comfortably in retirement. Don't let greed, confusion, or blind trust destroy that future. If this video opened your eyes, I need you to take action right now. Hit that like button to help more people see this truth. Share this with every friend or family member over 50. They need to hear this before it's too late. Subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell because I'm going to keep exposing the secrets your financial advisor doesn't want you to know. We're going to talk about hidden fees, misleading performance numbers, and conflicts of interest that are costing you a fortune. Leave a comment and tell me, has a financial advisor ever pushed any of these investments on you? Did you buy them? What happened? Let's help each other learn from these experiences. Protect your retirement starting right now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.